Yo, hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It is again time for another Marvel vs. Capcom Revisited video. It's episode 10 and I thought for this episode, well the last one we covered Marvel 2, which is Why Did Venom? And this episode I thought, you know what, go back to Marvel 3 for a bit, a bit of a change. And I decided to cover the man himself, or the robot himself rather, Sentinel. And by the way, just to clarify, this series isn't, it's not like following a big script. It's a bit rambly, stream of consciousness. I'm kind of making it up as I go along a little bit. I do have my notes off to the side on my other monitor, so if you see me looking off to the side, it's because I'm referring to my notes. And I also have Super Combo Wiki up for some further details on this guy's game plan in Marvel 3. So, big shout out to that website. So, in this game, Sentinel is considered to be kind of mid-tier-ish, upper mid-tier. I would say he's like upper mid-tier. In Marvel 2, as you might know, him and Storm are like the best characters in the game. It's kind of a toss-up between them. In vanilla Marvel 3, way back in February 2011, I think, pre-patch version 1.0, this guy was insanely good. People were saying nerf, 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 nerf. Capcom listened, they abided, and they nerfed him. His health went from 1.3 million to 1.05 million or 1 million, something like that. And in this game, it's 900,000. Which 900k health is not bad. But you gotta keep in mind that Sentinel, the big killer robot, has less health than Ryu, he has less health than Chris, I believe, and he also has less health than Morrigan, which is pretty crazy. Like, Ryu, Karate Man, has less health than Sentinel. So, we'll go into his pros and cons, just straight off. So, pros, I've written here, he's easy to understand. His moves are pretty telegraphed, they're pretty visually clear to the eye. Even if you're not very familiar with this game and how it functions, it's still very easy to know what he's doing. He doesn't really have an unorthodox playstyle like MODOK, for example. He's got a pretty straightforward game plan, which is just to get in and just do big damage. And speaking of damage, his damage is really high, with or without X Factor. And usually put Sentinel as second, or I usually use him as an anchor. So level 3 X Factor with this guy is insane. He has some decent assists in the form of Sentinel Force Charge, which is his iconic drones. And he also has Rocket Punch, which is that rocket punch, that downwards OTG strike, which we'll show off in a bit. And he can also fly in neutral and in combos, so it's good as a, kind of getaway, fly away tool, and also in combos, which I'll demonstrate if my execution doesn't fail me. He has decent mobility. He can't blink dash in the air, or wave dash in the air, or anything like that. But his air flight, the speed he has, isn't that bad. And again, I'll show you in a bit. And his blink and wave dashing on the ground isn't too bad. And his hard drive super has projectile invulnerability. It's his air super, he flies across the screen. So his cons, I've already established low health, 900,000k. Sentinel is a big body, so like Hulk, Nemesis, etc. So that means he's susceptible to instant overheads and chip damage, like Storm's Hailstorm Super is pretty much always going to do chip damage to him no matter what. His moves are a bit on the slower side, and I do have frame data up, again courtesy off rather, Super Combo Wiki, and I'll be reading that out when necessary. And, last but definitely not least, he only has one low in the form of Crouching Medium. That's his only low, otherwise you want to block high. However, it is a pretty good low, aside from the startup, but we'll get to it in a bit. Okay, so with that all out of the way, let's get into Sentinel's normals. So first off, Standing Light, it's his fastest normal, comes out in 7 frames. 7 frame startup means it's a little bit slower than some of the other characters' Standing Lights, but not too bad. The hitbox isn't that big. You don't really use this move with Sentinel. I mean, it could be used to start combos and stuff, but it's not amazing. You can also go into a tick grab, into his command grab like that, but... or tick throw setup rather into his command grab, but it's alright. I mean, you don't really see it that often. So the next move, Standing Medium. This move is actually alright. You can see it has pretty good range. So from that far out, from around that far out, you can get a hit confirm. It's a rocket punch. And it has super armor, I believe, from frame 6 to 15. It has 14 frames of startup, so a bit slow, but the range makes up for it. And it also does 100,000 damage. And in X Factor 3, 170k. So you can get some pretty big damage off this move. His Standing Heavy is unique in that it's a beam. And it also goes full screen, so if I back up here, neutralize, neutralize. It has 20 frames of startup, so not bad for a beam. You can do it for like basic zoning or punishing an assist call or something like that. So it's not too bad. You don't really want to use it from up close, because you can get punished, although you can use the lengthy startup to your advantage and go into another tick throw setup, like that. But it's an alright move. His Crouching Light, it's kind of a weird animation. He's like barely animating, it's kind of like an NRS animation, I suppose, in Mortal Kombat. This move, despite being a crouching normal, it does not hit low. So even though he hits you in the legs, it's not a low. I believe it's a mid, so you can block it high or low. 9 frames of startup. Not too bad. You can rapid fire into itself like that, but this will lead to a lot of damage scaling, so you want to avoid that. Let's see. So it has 25 frames of recovery. Like I said, I am rambling a bit, so I will make some mistakes. But yeah, 25 frames of recovery. It's alright, I guess. You mainly want to use the next move, Crouching Medium. So as I said before, it's his only low, comes out in 13 frames. But it hits multiple times, meaning it's very easy to hit confirm into a launcher, or a rocket punch, like this, or a super, or anything that you want, even an X Factor or a flight or whatever. I mentioned before it has super armor. That's the main, I guess, draw of this move, the super armor. If they press or they call an assist or they do something, bam, you're gonna go right through their attack, and you'll be able to pick up and go into a little combo like that. You can do any combo you want off of it, and we'll demonstrate later on. But this move, pretty good, honestly, aside from the slow startup. It also is pretty committal, but you can also fly out of it if you want, and it's not too bad. So crouching heavy is like standing heavy, but it's, you know, the beam is a bit lower. It's along the ground as opposed to being above it. Neutralize, neutralize. Some characters, oh yeah, I forgot to mention this, but some characters can actually duck underneath the standing heavy beam. This one, it's a bit harder to do with crouching heavy because of, you know, the lower trajectory. But for example, Wolverine and like Rocket Raccoon, like really small characters, they can still duck under this. But not a bad move to have, but it also combos naturally after standing heavy. So you can get 162,000 damage off this, with no X Factor, and it hits 5 times as well. So not too bad, and you can also start a combo with it. Goes into launcher. And speaking of launcher, let's go back to mid-screen. This move has super armor on it as well, and it has pretty good range. From around there it'll connect. And because of the super armor, if you're under pressure and they're, you know, they're rushing you down, etc., if you're feeling really ballsy, you can just throw out one of these, and if it connects, bang, go into a big damage combo. It's only -8 on block, so it's not super bad. You will get punished for having this move be blocked, but -8, not super bad. Has 16 frames to start up, so it's a bit slow, but it's got great range. It can nullify some projectiles, and it has super armor. So why not? You might as well. It's got a big hitbox, so it's really easy to hit off, to confirm into it off of any of his normals. Alright, let's go into his jumping normals now. Big 4 jump. His jumping light looks a little bit like his standing light, in that it uses like part of his weaponized body. Excuse me, frog in my throat. Have a bit of a sore throat recently, that's okay. This move is alright. You know, jumping lights aren't really used too much in Marvel 3, in combos and stuff, and this move is no exception. Can combo into itself, but I don't know, it's not amazing. You won't really see this move. Jumping medium, you will see this move, because you can see it has great range. And you can also do it into itself, and you can jump cancel it. So you can also get a combo. So this move is pretty good. You can also go into a special, like that, pretty easily, just medium, medium, special. This has 12 frames of startup, so it's a little slow. 32 frames of recovery, but you can cancel it with flight. So if it hits, or if they block it, or if, you know, the move whiffs, bang. You can cancel into flight and go for a throw or something like that. It's not too bad. His jumping heavy has a downwards angle. And this move is kind of like the opposite of jumping medium. Because see how this move kind of hits upwards, like at an angle, like up, like that? This one kind of goes downwards. So if they're above you, this move can whiff, like that. It's pretty easy to make a whiff, especially in combos, especially on smaller bodies like Rocket Raccoon, Beautiful Joe, etc. They will often fall out of stuff like this if you don't time it precisely right. But not a bad move. 110,000 damage, easily goes into his frying pan. And speaking of the frying pan, jumping S, it's his air combo finisher. Spike him back down to the ground. Oh, it whiffed. There we go. But if you use it outside of a combo, it's a ground bounce. Even if they're standing. If they're not blocking, boom, ground bounce. And then you can just do a, you know, basic air combo. So it's not too bad. And on block, it's plus 18. So why not? So if you get a stray jumping S, you're able to do more than half life on Thor, who has the most health in the game. So this one move is pretty good. It can lead to really big rewards if you land it. Okay, let's move into his specials now. So we have Rocket Punch, which is quarter circle forward and a button. So the light one goes downwards, and it's an OTG. So if we knock him down to the ground, bang, OTG. Medium goes forward, and it has good range as well. and heavy one goes upwards. So the heavy one, you don't really do a neutral. You wouldn't really use it as an anti-air. I guess his anti-air could be like a crouching medium as a really janky one or a launcher because of the super armor. This move could work. You mainly use it in some combos. I don't see it too often, but it definitely has its uses. They're a bit niche, but they're there. You mainly use the light one as his primary OTG, and the medium one. Because if you get... okay, let's say you get a throw, you can use that for a pickup. And after crouching... Well, you see how crouching medium knocks him into the air, right? That's when you would do the medium one. Because then you can get a super. You can mash for extra damage. So it's not too bad. They're all minus on block. They all come out in 18 frames of startup, it says. They all have different properties. So as I said, that's OTG. This one goes in the air, and this one is straightforward. And it's good to use after a crouching medium. So it's kind of like Sentinel's defining move. It's that and the drones. You can do it in the air as well. You can Tiger Knee it. It's an OTG. That goes forward. Medium's forward and heavy. Goes up in the air again. It's mainly just the same move as before, but with slightly faster startup. It's slightly less unsafe on block. Still unsafe at minus 14, but you can do it in the air as well. And drones. Quarter circle back. So light are these kind of downwards flying drones. Medium kind of go upwards. And heavy is like this carpet bomb. And this move is also an OTG. But good luck landing it as one. Because you see how fast they get up? Like, you'll never want to use that as an OTG. Why would you use that as an OTG when you have Rocket Punch, right? Although it's important to note that if Sentinel, during any point in the animation of him doing the snitch finger like that, guilty. Any animation when he sticks his finger out, or at any point in the animation rather, if he gets hit or he takes damage or whatever, the drones will disappear just instantly. They will disappear straight away. So they're only active as long as Sentinel is not taking damage, if that makes sense. So this move is kind of like a solo assist, if you think about it. Sentinel Force. And even though he's sticking his finger out for a while, you can actually dash up and pick up and hit confirm off of it. And he also has a super version, which we'll get to in a bit. So this move has a lot of startup. So you can't spam it too often, because characters like Wolverine who can take to the skies and dive kick or rush down really quickly. Any sort of fast character like that, with or without X Factor, they can easily hit Sentinel out of the startup. It's mainly used as an assist, but it's not a bad move to have. It's like a nice horizontal kind of screen control move. It's a disjoint as well, which is nice. And the heavy version, like I said, OTG. It kind of carpet bombs the area right in front of Sentinel. You see how even from here, like I'm not even at full screen, it's like 3/4 screen, it's gonna whiff. Like, you don't really use this move. I don't see Sentinel players use this move at all. If you're going to use drones, you might as well go for the light or the medium versions. I'm sure that the heavy drones does have a use here and there, but for the most part, you mainly see the light and the medium drones. And I showed this off before, he also has flight mode, quarter circle back, and launcher button. So he can't plink dash in the air with this, but he doesn't really need it, because his regular flight movement is pretty good anyway. Especially in X Factor, he gets so fast. And then what you want to do is you want to cancel his normals into it to get rid of the recovery, I suppose. So you see, oh, it doesn't work. Boom, I'm safe now. Unfly. So he stays in flight for 104 frames, which I believe is like a second and a bit, I believe. So it's good to use to to get a jumping air, so just a jumping button. You also want to use it in combos, and I'll show off a combo in a little bit that utilizes flight. So not a bad move to have. It's one of his defining moves, along with Rocket Punch and drones. So use it in combos and in neutral. You can use it to kind of fly away and get some distance, if you can't plink or wave dash backwards. Like me, because I'm on pad using Type A controls, so it's a bit hard to do that backwards and not get a quarter circle back super. I can do it forwards though, which is really good. But yeah, if you want to play a bit more defensively, you could use that every now and then to get out of there. Get some space between you and the opponent and go for a big disjoint to the combo like that. So flight's alright. And one good thing about flight, there's a lot of good things about it, but one good thing is that it kills Sentinel's momentum. You see, if I just super jump forward, see how he kind of goes forward and down, like in that arc? If I'm here, boom, I just stop, which can really throw the opponent off if they're not expecting it. And finally, he has Shoryuken motion and a button, human catapult, command grab. So from full screen, each version is gonna send them, or from mid-screen rather, each version is going to send them full screen. So the light version has 2 frames of startup, so a 2-frame command grab, which is pretty good actually. Medium comes out in 6 frames, and heavy comes out in 10 frames. Although it is slower than his regular ground throw, because throws in this game are universally 1 frame, I believe, because it's proximity grab. And, you know, you can pick up off a regular grab anyway. It's a bit hard, but you can do it. It is possible. I think that's the way to do it. No, that doesn't work. There are ways to do it, though, but I'm not a Sentinel expert, so the method to do that is escaping me. But you can also do this. You can also, and I think I showed it off before, crouching heavy, cancel the startup into the command grab. Because when they see you do that to shoot out the beam with the crouching heavy or the standing heavy or whatever, they're instinctively going to hold back the block, right? They're going to be like, ah, don't blast me with energy. So you can do that if they're not expecting it. You can also pick up quite easily from the heavy version. Let's stand him up again. The light version, you have to go rocket punch, but all 3 versions puts the opponent on hit into a hard knockdown state, meaning you can do whatever you want. There we go. You can X Factor, you can do whatever you want. Go for a throw, boom. Oh, they're scared, you know they're gonna block. You can go for something like that. You don't really see Sentinel players use this move, because, I mean, he's about combos and not really grabbing the opponent. And if you are gonna grab them, you might as well go for a ground throw. But it's nice that he has a command grab, and it comes out in 2 frames. And you can see it has pretty good range. So even the heavy version will connect from here. So from round start distance, boom, all versions will connect. It's funny how the light version, like, Thor just kind of like teleports into Sentinel's arms. Alright, let's get into his supers now. So, quarter circle forward and 2 buttons. Plasma Storm, the iconic. You can mash it for more damage. 333, really good damage. Comes out in 10 frames of startup and then 1 frame after the cinematic. It's his primary combo ender. So after Rocket Punch, you do this for big damage. And because it has a big hitbox, it's also a pretty good OTG tool. After an OTG it'll work. And a DHC tool as well. It's a really good DHC tool. Let me just do a basic combo just to show you. And this isn't optimized by any means. But you can see if they're right in front of you, or even if they're a bit in the air, like, it's pretty much going to work guaranteed. And at the end, it knocks them into the air for, for a little bit. So let's see if I can reorganize my team. Okay, perfect. So because this knocks them into the air, supers like Hulk's one, the quarter circle back one, will connect guaranteed. So it's really nice to have. His other super, Hyper Sentinel Force, quarter circle back and 2 buttons. It's essentially just his drones but on steroids. Has 84 frames of recovery, so you got to be careful if they super jump over it and fly over it or teleport or whatever. But because the drones actually hit from behind Sentinel first, a character like Dante, for example, his backwards teleport, or Virgil's backwards teleport, this will catch them if they teleport at a bad time. And what you can do, it's a bit tricky to combo into this, but if you get a throw, you can do Rocket Punch into that, and it should work. And you can get a combo. And if you have an assist like Hagel that keeps them up in the air, you can do this again. And go into Plasma Storm, if you have the timing. So you can see, just over half-life. Pretty good, not bad. Let's say you know what hits in your X Factor, you can fly forward, and bam. So off of that, with 1 X Factor, and I know this is level 3, but level 1 and level 2, any kind of X Factor will work wonders. If you don't want to fly, you can also just wave or plink that shot. You can also do it again. Oh, I dropped it there, but you get the idea. You can end in Plasma Storm. So this super combined with the X Factor, it's pretty good. It ain't bad. With an OTG assist like that, you can hit him into that. Boom. Rocket Punch even, if you have the speed boost from X Factor. And you'll get a really, really, really devastating combo. It's quite a good super. And he also has Hard Drive. Quarter circle 4, 2 buttons in the air. The main reason why this is really good, because it puts him into a true soft knockdown state. And... oh, I dropped it. 3rd time's a charm. There we go. It's projectile invul, as I mentioned before. Like that. You'll see he goes through it. He just beats it out clean. Every single time. Pretty much every projectile in the game, it's going to go through. So Sentinel players will normally do this on incoming if they're under a lot of pressure. And if it connects, you can usually mash out a crouching medium and pick up. So I got the link, but then I dropped it. But that's okay. Alright, so speaking of drops, we're now moving into Sentinel's combos, and again, I'm not a Sentinel player. I play him casually every now and then on a side team I have. I have Hulk, Nemesis, and Sentinel. But I don't really, no-life practice him like I do with Wolverine or Dante, for example. So I may drop, you have to forgive me if I do. But the basic Day 1 2011 B&B is Crouching Medium, it's a launcher, MMHS, Dash up, OTG, super. You can use something like that. That doesn't work outside of X Factor, so you do have to be careful. So you want to end in a super again. Like that. You can't do light, medium, heavy launcher. Let me put my inputs on, I'll show you. So if I do light, medium, heavy launcher, you see how it doesn't, I mean that technically works. But you can't cancel medium into heavy. That's just not how Sentinel works. You can only do light, medium into launcher. So you gotta be careful, you gotta be careful. Crouching medium is like a main combo starter. Because again, it's a low. Hits multiple times, has super armor. That's the basic BNB. As I said before, he can also utilize flight in combos, so let me try this out. Oh yeah, first try. Not that that's a particularly hard combo, but still. So that's just under 700k, which isn't bad. And if you're in the corner, you get a forward throw. Bam, you can go into drones. 1, 2, 3. 8, 8, 8, 8. If you have an OTG assist, you can do that. Into Plasma Storm. And if you don't have an OTG assist, then you can do this. You can just end it a little bit earlier, but you can do this. So he's a very meter-heavy character in combos. You want to use his big damage supers. But you can also do something like this. And we'll see if I can get it. I am out of practice. So you can actually loop the super into itself. Or you can do crouching medium after. So crouching medium after that into rocket punch, or just crouching medium straight into super. It works pretty much guaranteed. If you get the spacing right on the initial jumping light rocket punch. I don't like to tiger knee it here, I like to jump and do it manually. I find that makes it a bit more consistent. Let me see if I can get it. Oh, I dropped it. But even that works. So I was trying to loop hard drive in. Can't even do hard drive. Where is it? There we go. I was trying to loop that into itself, because you can loop it over and over again. I just don't have the practice for it though. But even if you drop it and you just get regular Plasma Storm, like that, it'll still work. So either way, you're still getting a big damage ender. It feels really good. Sentinel has a lot more crazy combos, and Jumping S is another good starter. He has a lot of cool stuff. And if you have X Factor, his damage is ridiculous. Like if you have X Factor level 3, let's see how much damage his Magic Series does. Okay, so that's enough to kill most characters in the game. Already, which is pretty crazy. Let's see this. Even that, and you see how big the hitbox is. Again, that's a touch of death on most characters in the game. So with Sentinel, what's really good about his X Factor combos is that they're quick. They are really quick. You don't need to spend a lot of time to kill an enemy. So it allows you to take out an enemy, wait for the next character to come in, and you'll still have a lot of your X Factor left. So it's really X Factor kind of meter efficient character, I would say. He uses meter quite a lot, but he puts it to good use. He puts it to good use. Oh no, I haven't practiced this combo on player 2 side. It is a little tricky. But overall, Sentinel is a pretty good character. I would recommend him for beginners. He's not too bad. And yeah, that's gonna be about it, because I think we covered everything. So, thanks for watching everyone, appreciate it. I know it's been a while since I put the Venom video out, it's like a month and a half. I don't know when I'll put this video out, probably right after I finish editing it. Right after I finish recording it. And if you want to see more characters or more games or anything that I haven't covered yet, leave a comment, please, I love to read them. And I will try to get to it as soon as possible. And that's gonna be it, so thanks for watching again, and I will see you guys in the next one. See ya!